Hi, I'm Tim Alexander,
And I'm Benmio McCrae.
and we're going to talk about not giving up on finding a good woman.
They're out there.
They're out
They're
there.
everywhere.
And how to find them. My suggestion is don't waste any time with a woman that you've qualified in any way as somebody you can't spend the rest of your life with. Because every
focused.
moment you spend with the wrong woman takes you out of play from potentially being with the right woman. And a lot of times people take certain characteristics that are good enough for now and try to build something around it. And all they're doing is getting older and getting more damage, because every time you pick up a little damage, then that's going to reflect, in your personality.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very good. You got to stay focused on what you want in a partner.
Yeah.
And then just keep your eyes open, because there's lots of great women partners out there everywhere. But you have to be looking and open all the time.
Yeah. And in today's society, I highly suggest some type of social media dating sites, dating apps on your phone, because at least you know that those women are a captive audience.
Yeah.
They're looking for somebody.
If
And
you're going to do
also-
that, I think just, identify some candidates and meet as soon as you can. Because
Absolutely.
It's all about the interaction between you and the other person.
And if you meet women today at a club off time, they think you're just trying to get some booty. If you meet them on an app where it's a dating app, they may still think you're trying to get some booty, but at least they can't act like that's not what that they're not there to meet somebody.
Yeah, I think it's great to go out to different networking events, whatever your interests are, to kind of go to those seminars or
Those are great,
conferences, and
Like-minded people.
that have some of the same interests. And then, if you see someone you like or attracted to, don't hesitate to engage them.
Yeah.
I know I had a tendency to see people but not necessarily engage, and that's not going to get you anywhere. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I've found that sometimes there are mixers where men and women go to discuss men and women issues, and interestingly enough, the men are very open to meeting women, but the women aren't really open to meeting the men. And the men complain. It's like, here's all these women, you ask for the numbers, and they don't act like they don't want to talk. So, in the social, going back to what I was saying, in the area where it's a dating site, you have a very good chance of actually getting a woman to respond to you, because they have made it clear they're there for that
they're
reason.
looking,
Right.
They're looking, and
If you meet them in a social,
and you're looking. So
yeah.
So at least you're both looking.
If you meet them in the real world, if like you're hitting on them, then there's the peer pressure of people looking at them, talking to you, and making judgments about, oh, she's probably going to give this guy some, and blah blah blah. So that's the new grocery store, so to speak. It used to be, meet them in the grocery store, but it's changing. And also, you can't tell
You
what a
got to
person's...
get out of the house.
Yeah.
You got to get out of the house and out of your little bubble, and out in the world where you're going to meet potential mates.
Yeah.
And that can be anywhere. It can be in the grocery store. It can be, standing in line at the DMV. It can be anywhere.
Yeah.
But you have to be open and available, and you can't, be at home by yourself,
Yeah. But here's one of the caveats of meeting people in the real world. You don't know their gender. You don't know their sexual preference. So you can waste a lot of time and get your feelings hurt. You see this amazing woman, she's all hot, and you talk to her and she likes girls, or vice versa. And so...
Well, you got to conversate.
But you usually don't ask the question, hey, before I start trying to run my Mac down, do you even like men? That's just not what you do. So they may be polite, or some of them aren't polite because they don't like men at all, and they don't have a problem with dissing somebody.
Moving on.
So when you meet people online, at least you know that they're looking for this or that. And I found that to be quite interesting, especially in the younger people, where the rate of the gay level is starting to increase, and so it's harder to tell who you're talking to. So
You've got a lot of online options. What are some other ways that you think are good to meet people?
Well, the world is such a diverse place. I say there is no real right place to meet people that's, I'd say, significantly better than other places, because people have met people in the imaginable place. I mean, sitting in the lobby of a hospital waiting to be seen by the doctor, and you strike up a conversation and you get in touch, and
Bam.
yeah. So it's really hard, but I can. That's why I keep going back to online. Sorry to be a broken record. That's the only thing I can identify the way the world is functioning now as probably, at least you have a captive audience.
I think you just gotta, whatever your interests are, get out and pursue those interests. It's attractive when you meet people that are pursuing those things that are important to them, they're passionate about. People see that you're passionate about something. That's very attractive. So, I think the more you can pursue whatever it is that turns you on in life, potential mate is going to be attracted to that. And the more you get out of the house and interact with those people and doing the interests that you're interested in, you're going to have more potential to meet someone who you're going to vibe with.
Now, in summary, this is interesting. We have somewhat different biases. He met his wife at an actual party.
Random,
I met my wife online. He sees it as getting out in the real world. I see it as online is a good way, because I'm sure that most people looking at this want an answer, something they can actually do and apply. And so to say meet him out in the world somewhere is a little more random than saying here's a group of people.
I'm just trying to give him a list.
A list. But when you meet somebody in person, usually, if you are attracted to them, there's a sexual attraction that kicks in early, which sometimes can bias how you see that person. When you meet a person online, you have to actually use words and talk to them and conversate through words and find out who they are. You have a tendency to find out more, and you find out what they're about. And you build a foundation a little bit differently. Then you see somebody, you're like, whoa, they're hot. Or he's really a sexy guy. And so your mind is already, and your hormones are starting to mix in with your evaluation of who that person is.
Yeah, but again, I think you got to meet that person, because it's easier to hide online too, as well. So you can kind of you can kind of build yourself up a little bit when you're online.
Like, where'd you get that picture from? Actually,
yeah. I mean, I don't know how many dates you went on from online, but you meet the other person and they either don't look like the person in the profile picture, or they're not coming across like they did in their profile. I actually did
very good online. Maybe it's the photographer in me, but I was able to thin slice and look at the pictures and know if that was legitimately. I can look at what they said. I even looked at what they put in their profile. So 2 different points of view, just as valid. But I think
online is great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think the real world is great too. But we just have biases slightly in different directions.
I'm just saying, you want to. It's all about the interaction. So
it's all about the interaction.
So you got to get into hanging out with the other person and seeing what they're about.
But if you want a concentrated group of possibilities, you don't want to spend a lot of gas driving all around trying to figure out where you should go to find. My suggestion is try online. And Ben's suggestion is number 1 suggestion.
My number 1 suggestion is getting out, doing the things that you love to do, and meet those people that you come across in that.
There you go. Try them both. But just find somebody, and good luck. Don't give up.
You can do it.
Because they are out there. I looked for a long time. I've been wanting to be married since I was 16. I finally got happily married at 56 years old. So that's a long quest. But it was all worth it, because everything I went through between then and now helped me to be the right man for the right woman.
Just stay open.
Bye.
Bye.